That's the hardest thing for, I think, a business owner to realize is to grow your business or scale your business, you have to build relationships. You have to My name is Brad Ball. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, and I have an agency called Art and Creative. We have about 30 employees. We handle anything from web design to graphic design, traditional marketing, digital marketing, web development, software application development. I quit my job to take care of my mom, and I started freelancing doing graphic design. And so that was in basically the end of 1999, first 2000. And so I freelanced for 4 or 5 years, and then in 2005 incorporated and hired our first employee. So it was because of my mom's illness that I got into business. My focus today is more on developing leaders within the organization. So as with growing any business, the owner can only take it so far, and you have to develop team members that can take your mission, vision, your culture beyond yourself. And so to scale an organization, you have to develop the leaders that can carry that baton. So that's really my focus, is leadership coaching, systems and processes of making sure they're sound, and accountability. Love, joy, patience, probably fear and anger. I'd say love first, just because of we're a very family-oriented business. That I have 15-year-old twins and a soon-to-be 11-year-old, and not that things go way quickly or go too fast, but I only have so much time with my kids and with my family. And so at what cost do I give up that time? And so, I work 40 hours a week. Generally at 5, I'm home. Now, I'm guilty of checking emails and whatnot, but even with our employees, get your time in, work your hours, but spend time with your family. That's kind of a core culture focus. And so that comes back just to the love of people. So joy, just anytime you see your work come to fruition and see billboards on a highway, or you win an award, or your client comes back and they've grown their business or they had a win, that always brings joy. Fear, just best example is where I was on a cruise ship coming back when COVID was kind of coming to the forefront. I was the last boat to hit the coast of Texas when everything shut down. And so my business partner said, hey, we're gonna close the office for 2 weeks and go fully remote. I was like, okay. And just how rapidly, we had to assess the business and employees and, what's gonna happen? Is everything gonna shut down? Because since we're very people-oriented, we don't want to terminate people, but what can you do when you can't do any work? So, which could also bring some anger in because we didn't do anything. Or, we've been very blessed with good employees, but that's an emotion of something bad happens. You can get angry about it. So, with patience, that as a business owner or leader, you always want to do and go, go, go. But sometimes you just have to sit back and wait, or if you're developing leaders, you have to have some level of patience to let them work it out. And one of our big mantras is we want to see people fail. And I want to see my kids fail, because if they're failing, they're trying. They're pushing themselves beyond what they think they can do to try something harder. And same thing in business. If you fail, you pick yourself up and you move on and you learn from that. And if we're not failing, then we're not trying. I'd say one piece of advice is to listen more. So whether that's criticism from mentors, or even having, mentors. A lot of times as business owners, we can feel like we're on an island. We've been in business for 17 years. I didn't join my first mastermind group until probably 13 years after, 14 years. So all that time up to then. And I don't live in the past of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Everything that I've gone through to this day has gotten me to where I am today. And that's, an important thing, is the journey that we're all on. And, you're gonna have ups and downs, highs and lows. And what do you learn from that journey? Because who knows what the next thing is. So if you're not challenged in learning, then you're not going to grow your business. You're not going to get better at what you do. You know, we as owners, we all like to think we know our businesses and know exactly what we need to do. The truth is, sometimes it takes a 30,000-foot perspective to really see what's going on in your business. And you know, a lot of people paint the picture of, oh, everything's great or everything's amazing, we're killing it. But then when you start to get into the details of the business, it's like falling apart or there's issues. And sometimes you need other people to be able to call that out. And you gotta be willing to come to these groups, make yourself vulnerable, or listen and say, hey, I don't have it all together, but I really want to get to this point in my business. How do I do that? And so being able to have a group that you're accountable to or that you can relate to that can keep you following after the commitments you've made and then follow up on it's important. At one point in business is that $1 million mark, and a lot of people struggle, and even us for like 3 years, we hovered as like 800,000, 900,000, 800,000. And then we developed some system and processes and added employees, and then we went from 800,000 to 1.1, and then we jumped to 1.8, and it's those processes, and those are the things that you learn in groups like this that you don't get from a book. You can read books, but how do you actually implement what you learn? That's the hardest thing for, I think, a business owner to realize is to grow your business or scale your business, you have to build relationships. You have to have partnerships, and some of those may fail. And having accountability of people that have been there is important. So in terms of the caliber of people, I think it's an A class when you look at the people that you brought into these events. It's not by chance. So people can go to online events, and that's great. But there's something to be said of face-to-face relationships, face-to-face connections. I don't think you can take anything away from that experience. And the Costa Rica, you don't get that experience here. And so part of that's just being in a place where there's peace. When you have a big aha moment, you can go away and actually reflect on that. But for the most part, everybody in the United States, there's always some type of hustle and bustle, or there's no downtime. And but the biggest thing about going to events is really the relationships. It's really hard to develop relationships through a camera. And you never know, you may meet one person that could double your business overnight by having a conversation. You can't get that online. You can't get that unless you go to an event and meet people.